Hey everybody, Eric McClanahan here from Ain't It Cool News. I'm here to talk to you today about the film Operation Taco Gary's. This is an old school classic comedy with road trip elements, crazy set pieces, wild, imaginative turns that you didn't think it was going to take, really good physical comedy, and a great cast. They keep saying after I think Hot Tub Time Machine that they don't make wild comedies like this anymore. Well, Mikey K did. So I had the opportunity to talk to some of the cast put together for this film. Let's talk about the cast real quick, by the way. We're talking Simon Rex, Dustin Milligan, Jason Biggs, and the one and only Doug Jones. I got to talk to Doug Jones about the film on Zoom. They wanted me to interview Dustin, but I wasn't able to make the Zoom, so I sent them my questions and they asked him the questions and sent me the audio. So I've got that here as well. I'm going to throw some pictures up so you're not staring at a black screen. And then I interviewed writer director Mikey K. So that's what all this video is. Check it out. The film was released February 27th. It's so worth seeing. It's a lot of fun. Check it out and take care.
Doug, how are you?
Hi, Eric. Good to see you. I'm great.
Nice. Excellent. Very happy to be talking to you. Been a fan of your work for many, many, many years.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so let's talk right now about Operation Taco Gary's.
Yeah,
Now, I understand the film wrapped like almost over a year ago. Is that correct?
that's correct. I think we filmed in late 2023, so it's been a while.
All right.
Uh,
Well, I'm glad it's finally going to get released.
yeah.
It's madcap. It's crazy. Let's talk about your role as the elder alien.
Yes. Yes.
We oftentimes see you in lots of prosthetics, and in this, you've got silver paint and very little else. Uh,
Right. Right. That's right.
so your character communicates a lot through their physicality. He's very elegant. He has a very elegant move about him. From what did
Right.
you draw this inspiration?
Right. Well, first of all, yes, thank you for noticing that it was mostly me looking. I think of Operation Taco Gary's as a transition piece for me because I've been playing more humans in the last couple years than ever before, and fewer monsters and creatures. So the elder alien in Operation Taco Gary's was kind of a transition piece between Doug Jones and Rubber Bits. It's like so a bald cap, some grayish bluish paint all over me, and some gold contact lenses, and we were good to go. So that to me, but because they were looking, it was scripted as long and lithe and sinewy, which I get cast as a lot, you might guess. Um, and knowing that how skinny I am and how uncovered I was going to be, basically my naked body with a gold speedo on underneath a taco apron. I thought, okay, with my build, it's hard for me to look strong and intimidating. And he wasn't that. He was very matter of fact, and he was very, here's the information. We're going to be taking over your planet, and you're going to love it, kind of a thing. So with that with I've noticed in my life with smart people comes a certain calm and a certain confidence that they don't have to do much besides just elegantly move their hands around as they talk.
Yeah, I mean, if you have all the answers, if you are the most powerful person in the room, I imagine there's a certain peace you hold.
I don't have to prove anything to anybody. That's right.
Exactly. Now, we cannot discuss your career without discussing Guillermo del Toro. You
Yeah.
guys have partnered together so many times for so many just impactful, wonderful creatures and imaginative iterations of humanity. Do you still speak with him regularly? Do you guys good friends?
We're still on very good terms. Yes. Now the last time I saw him, with his whole Frankenstein run, he's been out of touch with most everybody because he's just been like very focused on making the movie, which was an arduous process for him, and then the aftermath of post production and now award season has been very full for him. I'm going to be seeing him at a couple of award shows coming up where I'm presenting, and he'll be there that same night. So I'm gonna brush with him then. But he did have a chat with me a couple of years ago before filming started on Frankenstein to let me know that his vision for the monster had changed from when he wanted me to play him. 17 years ago, he announced to the world, and you guys might have been in on that,
Yes.
that I was going to be playing his monster. And I was very excited that this was, oh my gosh, dream come true to play that. It's such an iconic monster that affected me as a child too. But 17 years passed. I'm now 65 years old. And so that means that Dougie's wants and needs and loves have changed a little bit. Um, so again, wanting to transition out of too much rubber bits and playing more humans. I kind of let go the longer the process went with him getting the film made. Again, 17 years is a long time to say, I'm going to make this movie and it's finally out. That's a long time. In that time, I aged and my needs and wants as an actor changed, and his vision for the monster changed as well. And what you saw was Jacob Elordi being a gorgeous, young, beautiful monster who was athletic and could be romantic, and he could be with the father-son thing. And so it had a youthful energy to it that a 65-year-old may not have been able to channel quite as well. I think I like to think of myself as a good actor who could pull it off, but and his little slight love interest with Mia Goth in the movie would have been wrong with someone who could be her grandfather, I think.
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah. So it
Frankenstein
worked
by
out well.
way of Harold and Maude. Uh,
Right. And Guillermo was kind enough to tell me this was going to be happening before it happened, and I was like, you know what, I am so good with this. You hit me at the right time. So we're still on very good terms. There's a lot of love there.
Excellent. Speaking of getting to play more characters that look and sound like you,
Yes.
something I saw that really interested me is the short film Pretty Boys, where
Oh, thanks.
you play an older actor
Yeah.
who is searching for his second chance, and you
Right.
reach inside your own family for that. That just seems like such a rich role. Tell me about that.
Thank you. Well, thank you for noticing that. Pretty Boys is a short film that is now being submitted to festivals, and hopefully it'll end up, on a maybe a YouTube or a Tubi somewhere so that people can watch it at large. But it was written by Matt Edwards, who's a young actor slash writer that I've been friendly with, and he kind of looks tall, skinny, blonde. I was like, you know what, you could play my son in something. And he's like, well, I'm a writer. I said, well, write something for us as father and son. Off on a whim, I said that. And before you know it, he has this script. And I was like, I love this. Let's make it. So scraped some money together and we made a short film called Pretty Boys, where I am a kind of an out of date movie star that has been offered a comeback, but only if my former actor's son that I got into the business against his will, by the way, if I drag him back into this movie with me, because the pairing is what they really wanted to sell the movie, and without him, I can't do it. So, but he comes begrudgingly back into it. So we're on a little road trip to Los Angeles in an old Mustang, and what happens and it's a father-son reconnection, all of our angst from the years past coming out at each other. And it was an absolutely lovely piece to do, funny and poignant. So thank you for
Excellent.
noticing. That's very
Oh,
sweet.
my pleasure. I'm hoping we can get some recognition for it because I think it's going to be great. Let's get
Thanks.
back to Operation Taco Gary's. This is a
Yes.
madcap, like, again, road trip comedy, but like,
Yeah.
there's so many strings that are laid and they all play out. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see films like this anymore. What are
Yeah.
some other films that have gone by the wayside that you'd like to see popularized again?
Oh golly. Well, like the police academies, or the National Lampoon Vacation movies, yeah, things like that. I love seeing comedies in theaters, and because we filmed this Operation Taco Gary's long enough ago that I was started asking like, hey guys, what happened? And the answer I was getting back is that comedies were harder to sell now, and I'm like, why not? We need comedy more now than we have ever needed to laugh, right?
Mhm.
So for me, this is well timed. I think our audience is going to find us because we need to laugh now.
I couldn't agree more. Looks like we are running out of time, but it was such a pleasure to speak with you. Again, huge fan. The site is a huge fan. So thank you for taking
Yeah,
the time to
I've been,
chat with
and
us.
I love you guys. Ain't Cool News have been my champions over the years. Thank you so much for all you've done for me.
Thank you. You take care.
Yeah, big love, you guys.
All right. Bye.
All right, the first question, how did you become attached to Operation Taco Gary's?
I had a meeting with yeah, I became attached just through pretty traditional means. There was I think some general interest. They had some kind of list of guys that they were going out to for the role of Luke. And yeah, I had a meeting with the producer Matthew and Mikey, the writer director, and we just hit it off. And I mean, I love the script. The script is so amazing, so I was pretty enthusiastic about it. Just it was the exact kind of comedy that I love to read and to watch, and certainly if there's any opportunity to be a part of something like that, like yeah, I was just so ecstatic about it. And so yeah, we really hit it off. And yeah, they asked if I would come in and read with Simon, which I was, such a huge fan of Simon, of course. So yeah, it was all just kind of many sort of very aligned factors that came together, and the read went really well enough, I guess, that yeah, I got the job.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this kind of comedy too. And then it makes a statement too about the world around it. The journalist shared that you're kind of the straight man trying to navigate all the chaos of
Yeah.
Operation Taco Gary's, and he was getting major Charles Grodin vibes from the performance. Were there any inspirations? From what inspirations did you draw for your character, Luke?
What's interesting with Charles Grodin is that we actually we so we did we went out to Joshua Tree, me, Mikey, Matthew, and Simon all went out together just to kind of read through the entire script and just sort of talk through it and find any bumps that we wanted to maybe smooth out or any ideas that came up. But while we were there, one of the movies we watched was Midnight Run, which was yeah, it was really cool. And just the dynamic between the two of them in that was, I think, something that we were really dialed into. I don't know about like if there was any particular particular inspirations that I personally was going off of. I think over the years and the generation that we're at now as an elder millennial, I guess, but there's so much that you sort of absorb in terms of these dynamics and these archetypes and character types at play here, that it's kind of just an amalgam of all of these kinds of movies, the sort of buddy comedies that I grew up watching and loving, but then again with Mikey's very specific absurd twist on it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite buddy comedy in mind?
Oh man, I mean, there's just so many. Again, I had never seen Midnight Run, which was great, or I'd seen pieces of it, but not all the way through, and I love that so much. But I mean, there's just so it's actually there is an element that I will say in this, not character wise, but that there was a reminiscence of was Dude, Where's My Car? It's like I mean, because it's just the pinnacle of just like, how did this movie ever get made? It's so dumb. And there are some overlap with this movie and that movie in terms that there is kind of an increasingly absurd level of things that are proposed earlier on that then end up coming to fruition despite all odds and reality. But again, I'm sure I'm offending Mikey by only just just highlighting that. I'm sure there's something much more impressive and appropriate that he would be comparing it to. But yeah, that comes to mind right now anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that, because the next question begins with this idea that the film does a really good job of settling many lores and then springing them all to fruition kind of by the end of the film. So the journalist shares that their personal favorite is The Legend of Todd Simmons. What kind of stories do you have about Todd Simmons?
Oh, I mean, that just is just an absurd thing. This is just all bringing me back because we shot this a while ago. So this is just all bringing me back to how absurd this movie was. And like every day going into it, knowing that we would be, like today's like a Todd Simmons focused day or all the different ways watching Simon, and Kyle and everybody talking, this is the legendary, it just all is so stupid. And it was such a joy getting to watch everybody with such earnestness talk about exactly what you were saying, like the Todd Simmons of it all, and all the lore and all these little like small kernels of something that, again, you think is nothing. You think it's all a throwaway joke, and then it ends up being, yeah. Because what is the dinosaur's name? Snamazdat. Yes, Snamazdat. That's what the reverse. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And funny, you mentioned the dinosaurs. Luke is a paleontologist. So do you
Uh-huh.
have a favorite dinosaur?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, I'll say this. I, like many kids, was obsessed with dinosaurs growing up. I mean, I think we've forgotten how amazing that is, that we exist on a planet that at one point, for actually most of our history, geological time on planet Earth, it's been dinosaurs. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I would say favorite dinosaur. I was a Brontosaurus slash Brachiosaur sort of fan for a long time. T-Rex was fine, but I thought was getting all the fanfare, so I wasn't really trying to give it any more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say probably like the Brontosaurus, because he was massive, really
Yeah.
massive. And then also too, like all the underwater ones were really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all the questions they've got for you today. I personally don't have a favorite dinosaur, but I love hearing other people's favorite dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like favorite dinosaur. It's also just like all so made up. You know what I mean? Like, like I think I always think about that with the raptors when they on Jurassic Park, when they're like giving them like the sounds that they make, and it's just like actually they, we have no idea about it anyway.
Or like, no, people have been saying, scientists have been saying that dinosaurs may anatomically look very different than we have predicted because all we have is their bones. We don't know how much fat they had on their bodies or if they
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's really just a wild guess. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Mikey, how you doing today?
I'm good, Eric. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for chatting with me about Operation Taco Gary's. I love this movie. We don't see
Cool.
movies like this anymore. Just wild, uninhibited comedy. Um,
Yeah.
really a smart script. I was like, as wild and crazy as it is, it's actually very intelligent. You let some
Hmm.
lures out early, they all pay off at the end. But I noticed there's a copyright date of like 2024.
Hmm.
Tell me about some of the struggles you've had getting this movie out to people.
Yeah. That's a great question. Yeah. So we did premiere at the end of 2024 in Austin, and we were partnering up with a company to distribute it. And they had a couple movies to come out before us, so we are going to be their third, and it was going to be like, it's 6 months after, so it was like mid 2025, which is perfect. And then I think the two movies they had right before us just bombed.
Mm.
And so they're like, okay, we're not a company anymore. And we're like, well, we've been down the line. We're like ready to come out. Anyway, so we had to basically start the selling process and the partnership process up again. And yeah, so it set us back like 8 or 9 months. But then once Chroma came aboard in basically like a few months ago or over the summer, then we had another 6 month runway to come out, and yeah, and we're finally out here, dude. We're finally out here. We filmed in 2023, so it's been a long time coming.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad people are finally going to see this. You've assembled an amazing cast, so let's go through it. First off, Jason Biggs as the actor that is chosen to ascend. Uh, what an interesting choice. Tell me about that conversation.
I love Jason Biggs. I've always loved him, and because this movie, is reminiscent of the comedies that I grew up with, the '90s and the 2000s. I don't know. He just fit in so nicely, right? He wouldn't take you. I don't think he takes you out of the movie because of his celebrity. I think he just adds to it, right? I thought he just fit perfectly. I just wanted him to wear flip flops and that horrible button down the entire time. I had so much fun dressing these guys in the lamest clothes. It was fun.
Yeah, I thought he brought a real warmth to it, you know? He's
Hmm.
just like, hey, it's me, you know?
Exactly. it's at the tone of the movie, like, hey, this is crazy, guys, but come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Simon Rex
Mhm.
and the madcap energy he brings to his character. Was there ever any other choice, or was it just like,
Once, I mean, he was the number one choice, right? Once I watched Red Rocket while I was finishing up the first draft, and I was like, man, that would be cool to get Simon in this. I think, I mean, he would be our guy if we can. And at that point, the movie was going to be a much smaller movie, even smaller than it is, right? But then started getting some traction. People started liking the script, and then eventually got into Simon's hands through some connections. And Simon was like, "I want to do it." And yeah, I was like, "Okay, great. We actually have a movie now." So we started building the cast around him, calling him more favors and friends, and eventually, yeah, this cast rounded out to be a pretty talented one.
yeah, he's got great chemistry with Dustin Milligan, which a
Mhm.
lot of people know as Hot Frosty. Was that a hurdle to overcome at any point?
Well, this was pre-Hot Frosty. We did have a Hot Frosty viewing party though. Um, it was so we actually auditioned. So once we picked Simon, we started auditioning Luke's his brother, and we brought in a bunch of people, and we thought that Dustin played really nicely with him. And then Dustin, Simon, myself, and our producer Matt went on a little road trip together to kind of rehearse and build some chemistry, and thank God we did, because when you're filming these independent, low budget movies, there's no time to rehearse. On set, they arrive. We can afford to fly them out the day before they start shooting, right? Because we have to put them up in a Airbnb or a hotel. So we can't spend they can't spend an extra day there, right? So we got all this rehearsing out before we went on a little road trip. We got the chemistry down, and yeah, I think that's going to be my new strategy before every film. Just take my actors on a literal road trip.
Yeah, that's perfect, especially with this film because there's a road trip in the film,
Yeah,
which
especially
gives
for
it a
this one. Yeah.
great narrative direction, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
Now, one more casting note I've got to talk about: the legendary Doug Jones. Like, what a get. I already talked to him about the movie. He loved working on it. He had a great
Nice.
time. Tell me about getting him and if that elevated things to the height you saw it in your mind.
Well, first of all, there's a reason why I think he might be the most beloved person in Hollywood. I mean, he is the nicest, sweetest. He's so patient, and yeah, I had such an amazing time working with him. He was just, again, we were calling in, calling friends and asking favors, and Riley, who's another producer on this film, was buddies with Doug, and he was like, I could try asking Doug. I was like, please, just give the script to Doug. Like, let him like it. He did. He was like, all right, let's do it. Um, and man, what a pro that guy is. So it, I feel myself, or I've caught myself in every script I've written from that point on, always having like a Doug Jones role, just just in
Absolutely.
case I could get him
Yeah.
again. What a great dude that guy is.
Yeah, great guy to have in the pocket. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the future. This film is finally going to come out. I think people are
Mhm.
going to react really strongly to it. It's so much fun. It's for everyone. And yet there's enough in there to alienate anyone, which I just love about it. It's so universal. So this is going to open some doors. So what's next?
I got a couple more comedy scripts. I write every day, so there's always something coming out. I feel like every other script is okay enough to send to people, but then the ones in the middle, I throw away, and no one will ever read them. Or maybe I'll release them all at the same time. Anyway, yeah. So I just want to keep making comedies, man. I just want to keep I want to keep going further and further and get crazier and crazier and see how far I can take it and how you know and how big I can make these. I mean, I still want to champion low budget comedies, right? Because they don't need to have $50 million. Like you can just do it for, you know, even five would be enough. Like five is that's much more than we had. So it'd be great. I would love to do like a bunch of these like $5 million comedies. That's the dream.
All right, I think I have time for one more question.
Mhm.
And this one is, growing up or recently, like in your life experience, did you have a Clile?
Yeah, I think everyone has a Clile. Did you have a Clile?
I had a Clile. Yeah, I grew up in
Yeah.
Southeast Texas. They were all Cliles.
There,
So.
yeah. Yeah, surrounded by Cliles. Yeah, no, I had a Clile. And I mean, he's dead now. Obviously, as Cliles go, right? They're
Right.
just they're too. What's that Fear and Loathing quote? They're too weird to live, too rare to die. That's Clile, right? Yeah, no, I mean, he was a crazy conspiracy theorist, and but just so genuine and funny, and um, yeah, love that dude.
Yeah, that's one of those characters that's going to resonate with everyone, because I think everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, I know him.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got their Clile.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. Congratulations on the film. Again, it's so funny and so smart, and I really appreciate you taking this time.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. That was fun.
All right, take care.